must realize you are doomed.
Con Air, starring Nicolas Cage, John Malkovich, Steve Buscemi. This is what we're going to review today on Extremely Late Reviews. What it's about is Nicolas Cage coming back home from the service in a bar fight, protecting his pregnant wife, right? And accidentally kills a dude who was starting a fight. And so he got sent to jail, sent to prison. And then finally, I think 10 to 12 years, he's finally on parole. And he has to catch a plane, which is called Con Air, to go back home to get released. But on the way there, on the plane, he is with highly class criminals who decide to hijack it, and all craziness breaks out. Now, all three of us do recommend, if you didn't see this, go ahead and stop right here and go check that out, because right now we're getting into spoilers. Bang, bang! All right, gentlemen. So Con Air, I'm gonna go straight to you, Rich. Con Air, when you hear that, what is that besides, like the dryer and stuff? Talking about the movie Con Air, what is go straight into your mind when you hear Con Air, the movie with Nick Cage?
An awfully bad, fantastic movie, because it's filled with so many cringy lines and just cringy scenes, but it's actually very enjoyable because it just the stuff they do, it makes it like entertains me, it makes me laugh. So it's one of those movies that it's awful, like the acting and the story is really bad, but it's just enjoyable to watch because of the things that happen throughout it.
How about you, Vic?
It's a 90s action movie, right? Like,
yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
It's got these jokes that didn't really age too well like in the beginning, but like the action is all practical. Like most of it is just real pyrotechnics going off, real stunts going off. I mean, rip to some of those stunt actors. Like, remember, well, we'll get into it later, but there's a lot of explosions and some people look like they didn't make it.
There were casualties.
Yeah. You know what? When somebody says Con Air, the movie with Nicolas Cage, right away comes to my mind is that damn song that went with it. It was called "How Do I Live Without You." I think it was sung by LeAnn Rimes. Originally, I thought it was sung by Faith Hill, but then she stole it. And I just remember back in the day, all the Karens just loving and soaking in that song all the time and singing everywhere we go.
Thinking of Nick Cage.
Thinking of Nick Cage. Good old Nick Cage. So what did you think? Okay, so we basically said what was the basis of the story of Con Air. We got Nick Cage. How did you like him playing Cameron Poe there, Vic?
I love it. I freaking love it. I love his accent. I love how ripped he is.
This was the most ripped I've ever seen him. Was definitely this movie.
I love everything about it. How he's trying to be so like stoic and peaceful. Like when we first see him, he comes out of like the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And his wife in the bar tells him, don't fight these guys. I see that look in your eyes. It looks like you're going to be that guy again. And we're sitting here thinking like, who's that guy? And it's obviously the guy that is violent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it took prison for Nick Cage to actually become peaceful. Those years like made him like kind of be like the pacifist, or so the movie tries to like lead us on up until the end when he starts killing everybody. But for a long time in the movie, he wants to be like peaceful.
Right.
I love how he played that. I love how he played, getting angry, but then like settling down and realizing there's another way. I can save this person. I'm gonna get you that syringe. I'm gonna save you, baby.
Yeah.
Rich, when you think of Nick Cage, when somebody says Nick Cage, you like top 3, top 4 movie, this is it that you think of, and Con Air for him is the character of Cameron Poe?
Yeah, definitely top 3, maybe top 5, but yeah, definitely. But it's like what Vic was saying, the movie starts off so quick, all the cards stacked against him, like instantly comes out of serving his country,
Yeah.
one of the one of the Baldwins starts to fight with him. That was a Baldwin, right?
That was a Baldwin?
Was
That was
it?
a Baldwin,
Well,
right?
I didn't know that.
I don't know. I could have swore it was one of the Baldwins. One of the reject Baldwins. I'm pretty sure
Right.
it was. I might be wrong, but either way, instantly just start messing with him in the bar, and kills one of them with a freaking right to the nose, and instantly goes to prison, and I don't know how I forgot how long he was in there for. He was in there for a
At
while,
least
right?
10 to 12 years because
Like
his
7
daughter.
years. Yeah.
Was it 10?
Right?
Yeah, 7?
Yeah,
Okay.
his daughter was already older, but yeah, this is definitely one of the top Nick Cage movies for me.
Yeah. Like Vic was talking about in the beginning, we see this Marine come back in home and get in a bar fight, but that could happen to anybody, really. Get in a fight and accidentally going too far, especially when you have certain skills.
Yeah.
Like Liam Neeson's, I got a certain particular, I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I can't, I'm all jungled up. But anyways, you know what I meant.
I'll just put the clip in. I'll just put the clip in.
Just put Qui-Gon in. There you go.
Yeah.
Just put Qui-Gon. But anyways, you get his little backstory. His wife's pregnant, and then finally she grows, I think 7 or 8 years old. He wants to get home. He got paroled, and he gets in a plane with all these criminals, these high-class criminals. Dude, it's so crazy they would put all these high-class criminals in the same plane together. And then, Rich, what did you think how they were able to hijack it? And then they only send one like airport guard. Hey, stop the plane! Stop the plane!
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
It was already set up for failure. That's just the movie. It was just set up for it to get hijacked. It was like instant. Dave Chappelle little feature in here says that I think he was an Indian guy on fire, and then everything goes crazy from there. Obviously led by Cyrus the Virus, and I forget Vin Rames's character. Nathan? Yeah.
Yes.
So it was like headed by those two, but it was just funny how easily it was taken over.
How about you, Vic? What did you think about how the plane was taken over by all these high-class criminals here?
It is ridiculous, right? But like there were so many moving parts, like between the Cyrus working alongside the guys that were going to get transported from the bus, because there's more high class there. Okay, Con Air has like really bad people, but then there's actually more bad people that enter Con Air later from a bus.
Yes, that's true.
And that makes it double worse. Like if it wasn't already bad enough, there's a lot more terrible people coming in, and Cyrus had developed a plan to hijack it with those guys,
right?
They were trading messages and stuff with each other in secret. So like it was just it was destined to fail. But even though it's like it's silly and it's a 90s movie and stuff like that, it's still really fun. It's really fun. Like the premise, like you just keep going with it, and it just sucks you in.
Yeah, I was surprised looking back on like how many actors we had in here. I mean, we had Danny Trejo playing, what's his, Johnny 25 or Johnny 23. We had Steve Buscemi playing, I forgot what his name was. Some crazy guy though. I mean,
Green.
We also had Dave Chappelle playing pinball. John Malkovich playing Cyrus the Virus, Vin Rames. John Cusack was in this film playing Marshall Larkin and everything. What little character kind of, other than Nick Cage, what character kind of, were you like, oh, okay, I dig this character, it's pretty funny, or you were drawn more to other than Nick Cage in this one there, Rich?
Definitely Steve Buscemi. He was a strange one.
What the fuck is that?
Couldn't really get a grasp on him whenever they landed on that like abandoned like little town. It looked like he just came across this random little girl, and you couldn't tell what was going through his head. Like, was he like the psychotic him, or was he just like seeing the childhood that he probably never had through this kid? And they give you that feeling like he killed her whenever he's like walking away and he's got like her doll or whatever, but then they show her like, you know, waving at him whenever he's on the train, on the plane. So it was definitely Steve Buscemi. He was a interesting character.
What about you, Vic? Other than Nick Cage, what character interests you?
Which character interested me?
Well, not character, but like what actor you were like, oh, okay, this is pretty funny. May have playing a different role here.
They were all so good, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like every single one. I think Steve Buscemi though is probably the one that stands out the most. And Steve Buscemi actually to me sums up this movie perfectly, like his character in this, because he's super psychotic. They bring him out in like the Hannibal Lecter gear with
Yeah.
Yeah.
the mask, and they make him look like the biggest, scariest, you know, of them all. But he's so tame and he just says crazy things. And then when you think that he's gonna do something crazy to like the little girl, right? He doesn't. And
Yeah.
then
Right.
and the reason I think he sums up this movie perfectly is because of the ending. He's the final shot of the movie.
Yeah.
He's the only one that gets away, and
A random scene.
he's gambling in Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's the ending of this movie. That character does that. Like he's gonna get caught. Like it's crazy to think that he's not gonna get caught after that scene.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, crazy thing about that, what you said about the little girl at the end, you saw her and that means he didn't kill her. You know, on the TV edition, you know, the edited position, they don't show you that part
oh, they did
at all. No,
Oh,
they don't
really?
show you that part.
So
I'm
it's
like,
like
why
kind
would
of
they?
leave it up to
Yeah.
your imagination whether
Exactly. I was surprised. I'm like, well, hey, they didn't show the part with the girl coming out,
Yeah.
waving goodbye. So I don't. That was kind of crazy. They wouldn't show it on
Yeah.
the TV, you know, TV made special.
Yeah.
But
And it's probably a little
Um,
biased too because he kept the doll too. Remember?
Yeah.
yeah,
He
and
has
he
a
did have
plane.
like some blood on him,
Yeah.
like coming back on the plane. So it was. I don't know if they originally were gonna cut her off, but I don't know.
What-
What,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like an edit of back, get back on the
Yeah.
plane.
I wanted to talk about when they had a chance to actually shoot the plane down. I think they should have shot it down right there in the middle of the desert instead of it crashing in Las Vegas. I thought that would have been. I mean, I'm not saying it was just Cameron Poe and maybe two other guards, but I was with the other guy. I forgot what his name. I just call him Ass Kicker because that's what his license plate said on
Oh,
his
yeah.
car.
Yeah.
But I would have shot that plane down over there. What did you think, Vic? What did you think about John Cusack's character playing Marshall Larkin and that other guy? I forgot what his name was.
Ass
Trying to
kicker.
be like the DEA. Yeah, the DEA.
He was really fun, like him going on like this little solo mission, understanding that there was something like wrong, something going on, and that Poe was like secretly like a good guy,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
not wrongfully imprisoned, but he was on good behavior, you know.
Yeah. He was about to get out.
And he knew that there was something way more to it.
Yeah.
He put it together pretty quickly. But as for like shooting it down, they even make a joke about it at the very end. You know, both him and Ass Kicker are like sitting there, and John Cusack's like, yeah, we like it turned out a lot better this way, huh? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. Like obviously neither of them didn't like that Con Air
Mhm.
like just went through Vegas and just tore up the strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, tell me about like I know you make fun of Nicolas Cage's accent. Tell me about that one scene with the bunny, please.
That scene, and that's one of the scenes that sticks out in my head. But another one that sticks out is whenever, well, just all the different corny lines he had, like whenever he catches Johnny 23.
Don't treat women like
He's just banging his head. And then another one that sticks out is whenever, this one really sticks out because it was just like, damn, he just overlooked the fact that Baby O's not going to get out anytime soon.
You'll get your date someday, baby-o.
I ain't worried about that, man. God's got my. I'm going home, son.
Baby O's just opening up to you, and he just like puts it to the wayside.
Big, what did you think about his friend? I forgot what his friend was, but I mean, it was kind of weird him being on that plane to begin with. I don't know, he was just being transferred. That was pretty weird that his best friend being just transferred.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
It's a product of the plot. Like like he's a Marine, and he says, when he gets the syringe, and John Cusack is pointing the gun at him, and he's like, "Why are you doing this? You're a free man. You could just leave."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he's like, I could never leave a fallen brother behind, or something like that. And so he goes back, and they even do the what would be like a classical Marine shot going through the war zone, when he's running past all the soldiers getting
Mhm.
shot, like, and he's
Oh yeah,
dodging
yeah.
bullet fire, and he's dodging explosions, and he finally gets the syringe back to Baby O. They do the heroic like Marine shot. Now the movie isn't aware that Marines don't leave other soldiers behind, and a bunch of soldiers got killed in that scene.
Oh yeah, yeah. True that.
but
Rich,
but they
Rich,
tried. They tried.
yeah. Rich, what did you think about the ambush that the convicts did on the on
On
the
the
DEA?
soldiers.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, that was so simple of an ambush. It's like, why would they all go down that little aisle, knowing damn well how experienced you're supposed to be?
That
I just
that
thought that was silly.
that was just a setup just for more and more explosions for this movie. I swear, like this movie was like 90% explosions. So that scene right there, that's what it just felt like. It was just set up for the viewer, and just see soldiers flying whenever they were
Mhm.
blowing up everything.
Vic, tell me how you felt with the every time there was a climax or whatever with Nicolas Cage going to action, all you hear is that electric
Oh my
guitar in the
god.
background.
It's so cool. It's so cool every time. I never got sick of it.
No,
Every time.
They did always
every
play
time
it.
he's in action, I'll go get it.
I'm gonna
Oh
show you
my
that there
god!
is a God.
Yeah, forgot about that
I
line.
told you to put the bunny back in the box.
Definitely. Oh man, it's so funny. So finally, at the end, they bring the plane down. Nick Cage did and everything. They were running out of fuel, or engine popped up, or got busted on them. So they're coming down. They landed on the Vegas Strip, right, going into casino. Some of them escaped. I think it was Nathan. I can't remember that weird-looking pilot guy. He was just goofy to me, and Cyrus the Virus. Tell me about how Larkin and Nick Cage went on those bikes without being,
Oh,
you
I
know, just looking at each other all cringy, and just nobody said anything for taking the police bikes and just going after these guys on a fire truck. I mean, really, it was. And then talk about the ending, how they all finished getting all these
I'll let
criminals.
Vic talk about this part, because me and Vic were talking back and forth about this ending.
Yeah, I mean, it's super fun. I always look forward to this ending. The way Cyrus dies is like the funniest. Like it reminds me of that old board game Mousetrap. Do you remember Mousetrap?
Yes,
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 and at
yes.
the end, like the mouse like hops over the thing, and then it goes in the thing, and then the net falls on him.
Yeah.
Like that's what it makes me think of all the time. But this time watching it, I guess because I'm an adult now or something, like I noticed something. Back in Johnny 23's death, when they handcuff Johnny 23,
Uh-huh.
whenever
Yeah.
they pull out his body out of Con Air, his arm is just dangling there, and the handcuff is cuffed to like a cage or something. So
Yeah.
it implies that he lost his arm. When Cyrus dies, what Nick Cage had done was he had handcuffed him to the fire truck ladder. But when Cyrus got flung, his arm stayed
Oh
intact.
yeah.
The movie is
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
bonkers, right? So it didn't account for that. I guess they didn't want to be too violent. So
Yeah.
he flies off the ladder, goes through a plate of glass, two plates of glass, and then gets electrocuted, falls into like a random like construction site that for some reason is still running like at 12 meters
Yeah.
height, and then he gets smashed like perfectly like in the face.
Yeah. Sure.
I
What
felt
about you,
like
Rich?
I felt like that scene of what Vic was just talking about. It's like they were like, okay, we're gonna throw John Malkovich off off this fire truck. He's gonna go through all this glass, get electrocuted. But it's like the director's like, he did some pretty horrible stuff. We got to make his death even worse. So it's like they
Yeah.
went back to the drawing board. They're like, all right, now he's got to get his head crushed. That scene, like, I was laughing throughout the whole thing because it was just such a ridiculous death. And
Screaming,
it was
he's
very,
screaming the
it
whole
was,
way.
yeah, the whole time he's screaming. And then when he gets before that, when Cameron sticks that piece of wood in his leg, and he goes, ah,
Yeah, that
he's
was pretty
just
painful.
screaming. So yeah, he definitely gets everything that was coming to him because he was a horrible guy. So
I got a question
Yeah.
for you guys. The truck driver of the fire truck, the guy that was like always laughing the whole time, and he was also the pilot of
Oh
Convoy.
yeah.
Did y'all see how he died?
I don't remember it.
I just
John-
remember him putting a hose in there.
Yeah, John Cusack puts like a hose into the roof of the fire truck and he fills it up. And at some point it bursts the window and he flies out of like the door side, and I think he gets run over by the truck.
Oh my god.
So he has a horrible death too.
Yeah. My thing was at the very end when you're talking about Cyrus is okay, they were just on the strip, right, with the fire truck. And then when he gets knocked off the ladder, he's like in like some mining mill or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
They were just on the strip.
Can anybody
And I'm just-
verify that this thing exists on the strip? Like,
Yeah. It's like, really, what is going on here? All right, let's get in our ranking here. For 1 to 10, I know it's 25 years old, 1997. I'm going to give a personal ranking. It's going to be a 6.7 for me. I've seen it multiple times, especially when it's like on a TNT or TBS or AMC channel. It's on, and there's nothing else on. I'll put that thing on, and just get a couple chuckles here and there. What about you, Vic? What would you give your score on this movie?
I think it's an 8. Yeah, I
okay.
think like a big portion of the front half. Even though I love the action's a 10 out of 10, but like the movie, like a big portion of it, the jokes did not age well. Like some of them are really, really bad. Like, and I'm not talking about bad like they're not like well delivered. I'm talking about like there's some like really racist stuff in here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was made in a different time, so
Yeah.
Rich, what about you, my man?
I would definitely have to give it like definitely a 7, because whenever it is on TV, I will watch it. If I got nothing else to do, I will actually watch it, just because the action and the comedy part of it, even though they're trying to be serious, the comedy side of it. So yeah, I would give it a 7.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our review on Con Air starring Nicolas Cage. We all suggest if you haven't watched it, go ahead and go out there and watch it. And if you already watched it, you're probably watching the spoilers right here. And you know how cringy it is, but it's fun. You're having fun with it. It's a good, fun movie, entertaining movie. 25 years old, actually. It's 97 it came out. So, hey, that's just going to be it for our review. Thank you, Vic, for joining us today, man. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, until next time, everybody.
Sayonara.
Anara.